I found the right location. Hello from sunny Miami. Is that rhymed? Sunny Miami. Today I will be testing. Jesus, I'm just getting started with this. So I think that yeah, this microphone works. Um, so today we'll be testing uh, semaglutide, which is a weight loss drug Ozempic. It is prescribed for people with BMI over 30. So we're talking about obese individuals, and it is supposed to curb hunger. It is rumored and true, that celebrities do use it, and it is one of the FDA approved drugs. There are more coming out. Prior to trying this drug, do consult your provider. In fact, they're the ones who will be prescribing it. I know that some of the side effects, if you have heart problems, you probably shouldn't be taking Ozempic. All that being said, I am testing this on my own. It might not look it, but I do have a few extra pounds. My BMI currently is about 28. Uh, so I am slightly under what the minimum requirement is to start this drug. Hence, I am starting it and testing it on my own. Do not try at home. Alrighty. So the way you build up semaglutide, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, is you take 0.25 of a milligram once per week for 2 weeks, and then you can build it up to a 0.5. It basically starts to build up in your body as a drug to achieve a consistency. And I started taking it. I'm now actually on week 3. So today I'll be taking a 0.5 of it. Unfortunately, I only have syringes that go to 0.3. So this is going to be a 2-step process. All right, let me set this mic down and try and withdraw. So you have it in this little vial. Try and withdraw 0.25. America is now getting closer and closer to hitting that 40 and pushing to 50%, I suppose, obese nation percentage, meaning approximately 50%, 40 to 50% will be obese in our country, which is sick. I mean, it's obesity is an illness. You can promote whatever you want as far as body positive. Sure, there's acceptance, right? There's one thing, okay? Like even if you're walking on a crutch, there's acceptance. But if you're walking on a crutch, you usually don't have much control. Like if you don't have a leg, you don't have a leg. But with obesity, you do most of the time have the power to decrease that and get to a healthier weight. And I feel like I could use a few pounds of a weight loss. So, okay. This is it. I will not do an injection in front of the camera, but this goes basically pinching the skin and I like going at a 45-degree angle and then just putting it in. So I'll do it right now, off camera, sort of off camera. I hope I'm off camera. because I heard that YouTube does ban for this. Okay, that just went in there like butter. I will not use the same syringe to withdraw the second round, and these prep pads should be used as well. However, I think if you're prescribed Ozempic, they do come in pens where you don't have to withdraw it yourself out of a vial the way I'm doing right now. We'll see if my hunger dissipates. I have an extremely sweet tooth. I was eating, oh Jesus. So I discovered here in Miami, they have something called cuatro leches, which if you know what tres leches is like a cake, but it's like, it uses almost like 3 milks to it. So it has a caramel level, then it has a spongy cake, and it has like this like white milkiness, and then it has a top of like cream, like whipped cream on top of it. So those are the tres leches. I discovered a cuatro leches, which is kind of that, but it doesn't have the whipped cream on top. Instead, it has a thick layer of caramel. I think I will upload it at some point because I did film myself eating that. It is just death. And it's so good. Jesus, I have a massive sweet tooth. I really do. All right. Let me try and go with the second injection. Let me just do an alcohol prep pad for... I don't want to lose too much weight. I used to want to get all skinny, but that's not sexy anymore. I feel like Kardashians have redefined sexiness. I never followed them. However, you cannot, living in just being alive, not having ever heard of them, you know? So they have redefined beauty standards for the positive or negative. The positive would be giving a more shapely acceptance, because what was going on in the 90s and then the early 2000s with the heroin chic, maybe some people don't know what that means, but it was basically during the times when like 80s, 90s, early 2000s, heroin came out into the party scene, and then that emaciated thin look was really in. And then that actually did carry over even into the later 2000s. If you look at the Victoria's Secret models getting on stage, they were like, there's not a gram of fat on a Victoria's Secret angel model, the OG. And that beauty standard has changed as well as it was criticized. I don't know if I was just messing up the microphone majorly by not holding it. Still learning all this. Unscrewing the microphone. The cable got like zigzagged. But yeah, now that's changing and has changed. And portraying models of all sizes is great. I've felt like that should be the thing growing up. When I was younger, that was not a thing when I was in elementary. In fact, that stick thin model was what was followed. I do like to see shapelier models because having right now an extra few pounds, I feel like, oh, okay, this is like what that will look like on me. And I don't have to have bones sticking out left and right to think, okay, this is how it's supposed to, or what it's supposed to look like on me. Instead, I feel like, okay, well, this is what's supposed to look like on me. Also, I feel like with body weight, the whole BMI thing is um not I don't agree with the numbers on BMI. Let me put it this way. Because I feel like they give a wide range. So for me, for my body build, I store fat in the lower region area. And for me, because I'm pretty flat in the stomach, it's not unhealthy for me to have the extra pounds. Not just that, well, while I still have a healthy BMI and my weight drops, right, to a certain number, it drops off the top. So I'm bones and I'm still a healthy weight on the BMI. I'm like bones, like hard to like breathe. I started having like feeling my heart as I was like standing on the subway, for example. Um, and that was the moment. Like, you might be a little too slender, but how am I if my BMI is still okay according to the BMI? Going the opposite way around, I feel like even with a slightly higher BMI, I am still healthy. And so that might be the proponents of um, the the beautiful of like having those extra few pounds. I stand for it, believe it or not. I would like to be slightly thinner. I feel like when I'm a little more fit, I do feel healthier in general. However, um, yeah, like I said, I feel like I am not unhealthy with the extra few pounds. Now, when people argue that they're healthy while being obese or morbidly obese, we're talking about people who have like folds and folds, and you know who I'm talking about, right? Like you've seen um, individuals, who are promoting the BBW. Um, Big Beautiful Women is what it stands for. It I see the acceptance of it, but I do wonder if it's people who have just given up on trying to lower their BMI because they've been like that since childhood, a lot of them. And studies show that if you were overweight, obese as a child, you are most likely to follow that as an adult. And so it takes an entire breaking of habits, of diet. It is tremendous life work to turn around and change that. And I can understand how difficult it is. And so you're eventually, I think, standing against the wall, banging your head against the wall and saying, listen, I can't do this. This is it. Like, this is how I'm going to be. Um, and there should be acceptance for that. And I can see the body positive in that case, but I think those people should be body positive to begin with, right? And here maybe that movement will help them. I think there should be no shame in the body positive, right? You are where you are in the moment, and there should not be a shame that goes along with where you are in this moment. Um, because the shame just doesn't do anything for anybody. In fact, if anything, the shame so there was, I believe, societal shame over not having a certain weight or not being at a certain weight, at least when I went to school. So I think people are still in that mindset, or have been for a very long time. Now I can understand it, because on one hand, you do want to be healthy and promote a healthy weight. On the other hand, though, you don't want to say, hey, like, you're not beautiful because you have 20, 40, 50, 100 extra pounds on you, 150 extra pounds, right? You're still beautiful. You're still beautiful. However, you have a medical issue. And I believe that that's how it should be portrayed, right? It should be portrayed as a medical issue, not as um, a lack of will, a lack of people. People don't wake up and choose to be an extra 150 pounds. No one. I bet no one wakes up and says, oh, I want to be 150 pounds. Because, yeah, I'm going to get to that beauty standard. People get there and I feel are unable to move, or feel so discouraged trying to like, move to that beauty standard of losing that weight, that I mean, like I said, I think they end up standing against the wall, banging their head and saying, listen, I can't go that way. Like, I need to find people who are not only going to accept me, but are going to cheer me on at the weight I'm at, right? Or even cheer me on to gain weight. And that's a part I am against, because that is promoting illness, right? Like, I would not promote, hey, you're an extra 150 pounds. Yes, you are beautiful, but you are also sick, right? And let's admit that. And if you don't think you're ill, you're in denial, because your bones are not made to carry an extra 150 pounds. And that's just the basic truth of it, right? Like, maybe now we're growing to be bigger. And so generationally, maybe our bone structures will change. However, when you think of humans as a species, humans were not ever historically this heavy. They were not 600 pounds, right? And now we see there are more and more individuals who are over 600 pounds, right? It's an illness. It's an illness. And it should be taken seriously and should be looked at in that way. And instead of putting cruelty on people, right? Like, how low would it be to make fun of someone or say negative things about someone who's sick, right? Oh, they're fat. They're like the no, they have a medical problem, right? So I think where we need to go with further step with the body positive is compassion. Have compassion for people, have empathy, right? For like towards illness. People don't choose illness. Nobody chooses illness. So illness needs encouragement. Illness needs empathy, right? Instead of judgment. So those are my takes on that. I'm not sure how I like hopped to it. But since I am just starting this channel and I will be talking about beauty, hence BTY, probably a lot of other stuff will mix in here. But that's just one of those things. And weight and body image plays into beauty. And I am no different, right? I am no different. Like, especially being born female, still adhering to the traditional femme looks. I do kind of want to present as pretty as I possibly can. And I do actively take steps to do that. However, when it comes to weight gain or weight loss, that's something that I do. As far as like weight loss, I do for my health. As far as this weight gain, well, gluttony. Just the foods we have out there. I mean, when I think about it, heritage wise, I come from Poland. I'm Polish. And when I think about it, my great grandmother, even my grandmother, they didn't have no tres leches or cuatro leches. You're kidding me? Like, they had no access to that much sugar. And we're talking, so whenever I think about foods and what I put in my mouth, I think about, okay, am I putting something that metabolically the body I was born into has not been prepared for generationally, right? I mean, when I think about the prior generations of how the body adjusts, because the body adjusts to the environment, I feel like it adjusted to consume the basics, right? Basics that come from Earth. So meats in their more natural form. Um, I can't do lactose very well. I noticed I've always hated actual cow milk, which has the casein. Have to caseins something ca. How do you spell it? CASEIN, right? The that little hormone that when the cow gives milk to the baby calf, um, it has that hormone that will continue having the baby come back to the mother to feed on that milk so that the little baby grows and doesn't stray away. I think that's the part that makes cheese so addictive. And cheese is nothing but fat, or predominantly fat. So, however, there are good cheeses out there. And even though I don't like milk, sometimes when I can tell my body's like craving fat, that cheese can smell so good. But yeah, I've noticed that I need to take the lactose intolerance pills if I want to eat milk products. Otherwise, my stomach gets really upset and bloated and just not cute. That's not true. I think it's cute. Maybe not the bloating, but then all right, no, I'm not going to go into it. Yeah. So wrapping things up, I did my 3rd week on semaglutide and then HCG, right? HCG is the next one. HCG is the human gonadotropic hormone. Wait, no. Great, let me look this up. What is HCG? I'm as blonde as I look. Human cryonic gonadotropin. Yeah. And so HCG is a hormone that's released in large quantities during pregnancy and can be extracted from the urine of pregnant women. Yay. Watch, I'm probably taking something extract cows or something. Like I said, don't try this at home. But yeah, another one I'm taking is HCG. It should be followed with a 500 calorie diet. I've noticed it is difficult for me to follow that 500 calorie diet at this time. So this is my third attempt this week to try it. Now, if you are female born and menstruating, you should not taking during your cycle because you're already producing like hormones to that rush up your metabolism. That's why you're after your period, you're like all skinny. So I just went through my cycle. I'm gonna take it today because I'm done with the cycle. And so I'm gonna pull another syringe. And I'll just test my hunger levels. So this is ideally it would get me to that 500 calories. Now, when you think about it, 500 calories is a huge deficit. If a grown-up is supposed to, close to 2,000 is supposed to be the diet, depending on, your calories out, meaning like your energy out, meaning the amount of calories you burn per day. But assuming a 2,000 calorie diet, which is I guess some sort of a prescribed average per human, then 500 is a huge deficit. Now, you're not supposed to be working out on this. And the 500 calories should come from lean protein, so lean fish, not salmon, clearly. 7 ounces of lean protein. I choose fish or like 99% fat-free turkey. Those are my go-tos. Or if I'm running around, I'll take a packet of tuna. And then it should be 2 gristini sticks, which are or Melba crackers. Now, this diet was thought up like back in the day by Dr. Simmons. And I guess that's what they had access to. I guess we're talking about carbs with minimal fat in them. I don't see how crackers are good for you, but I'm guessing from the calorie perspective, it's about 70 calories that you want to be taking out of the crackers. So I'm guessing fish and poultry, or I don't know, beef or pork, how, like which choices, that's something to be looked up. Those are not meats that I eat. So about maybe 220 out of the fish, out of the protein, and then about 70 out of the crackers, or some sort of a grain. So that would raise you up to 290, right? So you have about 210 calories, and that amounts to about 2 apples and 2 small servings of some sort of salad, lettuce. When I say salad, I mean more like lettuce, no dressing, except for maybe sprinkle of lemon juice or lime juice, maybe pure vinegar, calorie-free stuff. I do recommend lemon juice. I feel like lemon juice is everywhere, and it's supposed to kind of depends on if you have acidity in your stomach, right? Then you need to take like your acidity pills. I have acid reflux since I was a kid, so I have to be careful with it. But lemon juice is good all around. So that together makes up 500 calories that you're supposed to be on every single day for the duration of the diet. I've noticed I do get very hungry. I can eat still the tres leches, so I'm not sure if it's the HCG dosage that I'm taking, if it's my sweet tooth, but I am willing to try it again with stacking it with semaglutide. I've heard good things about it. And stacking, I guess it's like, it's a terminology, putting one on top of the other. It's just literally what I'll be doing. Let me wash this with my... Now, HCG diet is controversial, right? It is not FDA approved. It is used off-label. You can get it prescribed. There are pharmacies that release it, but it is not an FDA. It's not the same as Ozempic that is FDA approved. This is not FDA approved. Let me put my microphone to the side. Alrighty, and so that basically concludes the experiment for today. I shall be updating. So I weighed in today at about 173. Ideally, I'd like to get to 144. I am 5'6.5". So like I said, my BMI is about 5'6.5". Like I'm dreaming of 5'7". But I guess I'm 5'6". Anyway, so my BMI is about 28. And I would like to get to 144, which would be a healthy BMI. From what I've noticed throughout time with my body, it's the lowest weight that I still feel healthy at. Below that, it's just, when I was at 132, I was feeling sickish. So might be how I'll end up building muscle, because I would like to tone up. But I think 144, especially with beauty standards having changed and, roundness being sexier, I'll shoot for that. And then if I'm not feeling healthy for whatever reason at that weight, then gaining is always an option, right? Although the ups and downs are not recommended. I've experienced them in my life, and that's something I can talk about in a different video. But for today, I think that's it. This is one of my first videos. I am doing it as a live stream that I will be posting because I honestly have not yet figured out how to record a video. I did get, I have my professional microphone, but I don't have a stand for it yet. I did get, I think, a nicer budget streaming camera, the Logi Live Stream something Pro. Funny thing, I purchased it off of someone who was going to record their gambling. I guess their gambling wasn't going so well, so they sold it off on eBay. And yeah, so that's my setup right now. It's super, super basic, super out of just, a corner. But hopefully I'll have things to share and experiments, even on self, to share that may make it worthy for you or some sort of an audience to want to watch and listen to. I will try to do it as videos and make it more animated, add things to it so that it's a little more interesting than just me sitting here with a microphone blobbing. Right. Okay. That's it. That's it for today. Done. Thank you.